Now the Fellowship picked a couple of cards to discard that they don't think they're going to have a chance to play. And now they're going to declare themselves as being here in minus Morgul. That moves this down and pushes us into the first space on the Mordor chart. Okay, but we got a bigger group now. As we discussed, we're going to be putting these two tokens, a special Fellowship token and a special Sauron, and the eye as well. So 3 tokens go back in here. I'm going to have to shake these up really well. Whenever we move, one automatically gets picked. There's no die roll there. But the dice still have an effect on the amount of damage that's done on an eye attack. So I'm throwing a lot of these in because I know that there's a decent number of eyes in there. There always will be. But I've pulled a lot of these out. And that's somewhat enheartening for the evil player. That means less dice that I get to use. The Fellowship actually has more dice in play at this point. My hope is really, I think at this point, to hurt them enough here, because I don't think that even with this kind of strong push forward, a military victory is possible. I just don't think it is. But it's putting the pressure on, forcing this forward. Now if I put a decent number of dice in here, and this has to go forward. I could actually throw all my dice in there and just rack the Fellowship. But I'm going to see how a decent number is going to work for me. I think the dice mean less now in a lot of ways, but they do more damage on the eye tables. So that's kind of impressive. On the other hand, I can start killing off companions. One problem with killing off companions, well, what if I lose Aragorn, or Strider in this case, in the game's terms, and then I'm ending up with one of these other guides. These guides are not great. Gimli doesn't serve as a guide in any sense of the term. Meriadoc, he can be pulled out, so he can reduce the damage by 1. Well, that's essentially the ability that any guide has. Unimpressed with that. Alright, let's roll the dice and see what happens. I think this may be the last video of the series just because I think we're cracking down to the very end. It's going to be exciting, I'll say that much. Another eye went in here. A bunch of Fellowship movement actions. Enough to maybe get me there. And some military actions on this side. I have a muster action here, but yeah, the big question right now is whether or not the Fellowship can make it there in time. I do not think that there are any events that I really want to play. Got the Círdan's ships, which could bring me some elves on the coast. That's not terribly useful, but it might be enough. I could bring 2 elven elite to attack at Dol Amroth or something, but of course they can jump in and take a siege. That could shift the direction of this, though, for the military side, if need be. So I kind of want to think about that. I could also put an elf in Lorien, which strengthens my defenses. But you know what? I'm counting on the evil player not being able to move easily. So we're going to do a move in here. Let me see what we draw. Well, we draw no damage. There's no block, so we're going to move forward. But we're detected. I got to think about the evil player's turn because he may have something he can do at this point to a revealed fellowship player, which he could not have done before. Otherwise, he may want to pass and just let the fellowship, do its hide, and then I have to take an action. Okay, well, the Sauron player chose to let the fellowship complete their hiding. Then, after they did that, they were forced to play, and they played a muster, pulled themselves a Saruman unit there. Now comes kind of the question. Pushing on seems like the thing to do, although with that extra die in there, that's an extra possible point of damage. I got away lucky last time though. Let's do it again. Uh-oh. There's no prevention, so we're going to move forward. We're detected again, but it's an eye. And I have to figure out how that works here. I thought I knew. Okay. If it's an eye, the hunt damage equal to the number of dice in the box is taken. That's a lot of damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whew. I'm going to take a random hit on a companion because I have a character piece, so I can hide again. 6 is a big number. And I think it's a hobbit. Well, that only drops me by 1. Means I take 5 points of ring damage from this. And oh, I couldn't put all those dice in. No, I only put 3 in to begin with. The other one came from an eye. Okay. We get a hobbit here. And a couple more dead. Definitely not following the storyline here. Looks like it's time to press on with military actions by our baddies. I don't have any cards I really want to play. Why is this here in us? Oh, he was hunting fellowship. Okay. Alright. We'll move 1 step forward here. We get 2 moves off of a movement action. Question is, what's our next one? Well, there's only 1 here. I need more than 1. I've got Gandalf in my way here. I'll push these into place over here. Crappy ass fucking minis. Alright, well, we'll take care of that in a moment because I'm still on video. 1 more. I still got Strider and Control. I don't really want to do this. Yeah, I'm not going to roll another die, so I'm going to just hide using my character action. Ooh, actually I may not want to use my character action for that. Let me check my events because Yeah, see, I have my Bilbo's song, but that's bonus if I have Gollum leading me. So I think I'll use my character action to hide, and I'll use an army action on the army itself. Because of the stupid minis, I have to go off camera and try to fix the mess I did. And I'll come back after both forces have moved. We're done with the Fellowship exploration. 3 more moves and we're in. It looks to me like I can probably make it, but it's hard to tell because you don't know what's going to come out of the bag. 3 is a lot. Yeah, 3 draws. Okay, so all we got there was a move here towards Lorien, marching closer to the Shire. Shire's kind of neat because this is kind of weak. Fellowship, Free People played a muster tile. They didn't have to necessarily do that. They could have used their rings if they had something they wanted to do more, but they don't really want to move into the Old Forest yet. He's got this cluster here. Gandalf's got a problem, basically. He can't defend the 2 areas that are going to be threatened from the Old Forest. But if he moves into the Old Forest, he's not really defending them either. So over here we got some additional leader in Arid Loon, and we got the final regular infantry dwarven unit down there. I'm almost out of dwarves, and they're the only thing I can produce other than Gondorians, whom I cannot produce because their territory's all been taken. All right, on to another turn, and if it's as exciting as this last one, it may be all over. All right, well, both players had to discard cards. The Fellowship 2, the Sauron player 1. They're at full deck right now. They have some interesting cards in their hands, so we may see a lot of effect of that. Some of them for combat, some of them for events. I'm not sure how they add up, but you can see we got 2 event dice for the Sauron player. Bunch of military stuff, 1 character die. Character die, how useful is that? Well, actually I have events that use it, but I got a couple of event dice. I could only put 2 dice in here this time as the Fellowship dwindles. No eyes, so that didn't increase. That's kind of a bad sign. I want to get more harassment on the Fellowship. On the Fellowship side, they got a bunch of military dice, making those rings look more interesting. But they do have a character and a Will of the West die. It's a hard call here because I've got dice, I've got cards that can help, say, defend Lorien. So I think I'm going to actually take the Fellowship turn. I don't have to. He only has 5 dice versus 6 there. But I have this Celeborn's... no, sorry. No, I have a Power 2 Great. Now that requires a card I don't have. I could use the Will of the West for this. I can always throw an army in to hide. This is a nice event. I also have Celeburn's Galadrim, which allows me to recruit an Elven unit in Lorien and then draw another card. I really want to play the Power 2 Great because what this does is the Shadow Armies can't attack Lorien, Rivendell, or the Grey Havens. That closes out a lot of the potentials for the extra. So if I take the Shire, the Grey Havens becomes an extra 2-point area. So that's 3. I only need 1 more area. And it could be Lorien, and then I don't have to face the Gandalf problem. That's the first thing. It also advances the Elven nation 1 step on the political track into war. That's going to get rid of the Threats and Promises card. I just can't use dice for mustering. And the Shadow player can get rid of this by using an action die. I'm assuming any kind of action die. And discarding 1 army card and a character card from his hand. that'll buy me some time. I think I'm gonna... I don't like using this die for this, but I think the advantages are too great. So I always have the rings. I can use them. That moves the elves up to at war, and that gets rid of the threats and promises, which means now I can start mustering more troops. Big deal? Well, yeah, I got a bunch of these so that I can start upgrading. What do I have? The Rohirrim here and the Northerners. So that's kind of a problem on that side. Now, for the evil player, well, we don't want to see the Rohirrim enter. Now, they're not active, but I don't know. I don't trust that they can't become active. So my play there is going to be Wormtongue. Now, the question is, do I want to use an event die or a character die? Character die can move one of my armies as long as it's got a leader involved in it. Can make an attack. So I'm going to use the event die. Now, Wormtongue is allowed because Saruman's in play. Comes in front of me. Rohan cannot be activated by any effect other than a companion's special ability, or if the fellowship's declared in a Rohan city or stronghold. It's discarded as soon as Rohan is activated by either of those effects above. It's also discarded, and it activates Rohan if Helm's Deep or Edoras is attacked. But I'm doing this to prevent the attack there. I know that I can buy off this. The Fellowship was just buying time. Well, I have this in hand that I want to use. I have some nice cards. It's time for me to move my characters. I don't think I'm going to use the Elven Ring here, but let's see what we get. We get an eye. That means it's 2 damage, and I'm revealed. I'll take that. Yeah. I've got the ring here. That shouldn't be here. Oh, geez. I think I was at 5. All right. So 2 damage. Do I want to... Is Gimli a 2? Gimli's a 2. I'd like to get Gimli killed. I'm going to see if I can... Well, I can avoid it. Ah, crap. There goes Strider. Oh, well. Now I'm led by Gimli. That sucks. I'm going to have to use an Elven Ring to hide because of this. That was the one reason I didn't want to do it this way. But okay, that's life. I got to think about the evil player. What does he want to do? But we moved forward another space. And we're getting only 2 away now. The conditions under which I can void the A Power Too Great card are that I have to get rid of one of each of my types of card. A character and an other kind of card. Whatever the proper term is here. Let's see if I can read this. An army card and a character card. I'm not sure what an army card is. I think it's the other type other than a character card. But the thing is, it's not based just on this. So I'd look, and I have only 1 character card. I have army cards I would discard. The problem with the character card is, it's my Balrog, Durin's Bane, military event. Let me get under a light because I can't read these cards. Before the combat roll 3 dice. The free player power must immediately eliminate a casualty for each 4 or higher, but this can only be done within 2 of Moria. It's a very powerful card, and Lorien's within 2 of Moria. Very tasty there. Can I delay this out, or do I want to push? That's the question. The elves are in the war. If I can nuke the elves at this point, that gets me a lot of ground. But, on the other hand, this is one of 3 places I can't hit. I gotta contact. Alright. So, advances were made on the Shire and up towards Thranduil's palace here along the Old Forest Road. That makes things tough on the Allies. First of all, I can't make any movement. The elves are active, so I could actually bring some more reinforcements in for the elves there. I could start boosting something like the Northmen. Or the Rohirrim for that matter. I just can't activate them, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's what it looks like. I would like to hide, there's no question there, but here's why I don't want to hide. I don't want to hide because it hands over the ring. And, you know, next turn, I've already done a move forward this turn. I don't have to do anything with the Fellowship anymore. Of course, the danger here is, well, if I don't do something with the Fellowship, bad things could happen to me. Maybe the best answer at this point is actually to run the movement. Give the rings to the evil player. So with 3 of these, I could actually do hide, move, if I get lucky, move again, or hide again. I don't need to do the hide again now then. That's kind of my thinking there. The other alternative is the mustering. I'm going to muster. Where the hell are elves? These guys are elves. Put one here. And one there. That's a dwarf. He's over here. Yeah, I don't have a lot of elves here. Oh, this is an elf that's there. These stupid ass minis. You know, given the situation, I'm actually gonna... Oh, that's not an elf. I'm actually gonna grab an elite elf for here. God, I really hate these things. Alright, and that puts it to the evil player again. Gotta think, gotta look. I can only do 1 attack if I'm doing an attack. I gotta think if I want to do an event instead. And an attack it is. And the Wood Elves run into the into their hidey hole over there, which means what? Do I take an action? Do I use a ring? Do I fire off a ring to attack with Gandalf? Or do I let them make their attack? What do I do? Ah, jeez. This is a tough one. Well, the real question is how lucky do I feel about moving into here? That takes 2 rings. I can't spend 2 rings, can I? I gotta spend a ring to do anything though, basically. Except for bringing troops upward. I could start pushing. Yeah, you know, I don't have as many troops here as it looks like I do because there are some men in there. I'm gonna... They could have been attacked there. Yeah, well, that wouldn't help. Nah, I can't. Yeah. I'm gonna pass and see what the Dark Power does, and he's probably going to actually conduct his siege at this point. Although, well, a quick attack on the Shire might be neat, but I don't really want to do that, because when I do that, I push this up by like 2 spaces, one for attacking into his territory and capturing something, and one for the unit for the actual attack, I believe. So that would put the men very close to coming into play, and that's what's kind of keeping me safe from Gandalf. Okay, well, the siege is going on. They're playing the Great Host. If after removing casualties, your units are at least twice the enemy, the free people has to lose a unit. And this is the only attack I can make, unless I have an event that allows me to make one. They're playing Daylight, where I only roll 3 dice in combat with the evil player. Alright. So, the good player, remember he only needs 5, the evil player needs 6s because of the fortress. I'm getting 2 hits and a reroll. I'm doing 3 hits. The evil player only gets 3 dice. 2 hits, and he can reroll 1. Okay, 2 to 3. This is not a good result. I lose an elite, essentially. And we're gonna we'll take our loss in orcs, I think. Easterlings are easier, I think, to bring into the battle, actually, if it comes to that. We'll take Easterlings. And that means I get 3 more Easterlings back in my pool in the odd event that I might need them. I mean, I've got a lot of troops left. And honestly, I don't feel too hindered by most of the Fellowship force pools either, except the Dwarves, who've been heavily involved in this. Now, I'm more than double, so they take another hit, and we'll take that on a regular. Which goes over there. I could get rid of the elite, turn him into a regular, and that would give me another shot. I think given the limited number of actions that I have in the battle, even though that's weakening me vis-a-vis Gandalf, I want to do that. So, we get to do another. People choose not to play a card. Well, that's kind of interesting, because I was playing a cancel out the free people's card. But if they don't play one, I add 1 to any leader reroll dice. Man, I got a ton of dice here. Let's see if I get a hit. I do, so I'm going to win. Oh, that's only 1 hit. That's not quite enough. Now, these are a +1. Not enough. I'm going to do 1 hit. And they get to swing back, and they get a hit. So, take an Easterling. And this comes over here, and I gotta find me an elf. There's one that I can bring back into play over here. And now I'm out of elite units, so I can't press the attack any further. I got stopped by bad die rolls, really. So on the Fellowship, he can build troops. I don't believe he can build them in a sieged city. Let me make sure of it. We finish things up with some significant mustering actions. For the Fellowship, they've been boosting the Northmen almost to the war point. I really need to have this force to try to relieve that. I didn't have any movement actions. I don't want to do it just with the Dwarves. I don't think I can. But maybe with the whole force I could relieve Thranduil. At the very least, if I have this force active, I can protect Eridor or something like that. I don't know. But I am definitely at a lot of risk, I feel like, with the Fellowship. For the Sauron player, he built a bunch of kind of useless stuff using the recruitment value that Saruman has. And then he played a Horde from the East event card using the event thing that pulls in 5 more of those. That gives him some more troops. Somewhere near where he could use them, but you know, neither of these are terribly useful, but recruitment isn't terribly useful to him. It could become so if things open up, if Gandalf wins the fight, who knows. But as things stand, well, I chose to hold on to this card, figuring I'll get another character card next time. Because Lorien and the Shire wins me it, or the Shire and the Grey Havens, but I think that's tougher. So I'm pretty close to that military victory, actually. And I guess we get our son of a bitch. I guess we get our dice back. It's definitely coming down to a nail biter. I have the feeling this game tends to, though. I know when I was playing against my wife, it was fairly tense. Well, as the Fellowship drops down to just 1 companion, that means only 1 die went in here. But 2 of them came up as eyes. I think we're at 6 cards per player now. The evil player's down to 4. I forgot that. But we must be at 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah. Mix of activities, some character activities, that's nice, and an event. Remember, I've got the rings. I think this turn, the Fellowship has to try to move on it. We have to try to push that far. Although, last turn was kind of nice with the low amount of dice. This turn, that's kind of painful. We'll see. But my other events, my couple of army type events, and they're nice mixed events actually, are somewhat useful perhaps in resolving some issues. So for example, I could bring the free people into play so I can try to save this fight here. I think the most important thing though is to hide, and I'm going to do that right off. That gets rid of one of my problems, and also there may be cards that affect that. Sauron player doesn't have any in his hand. One thing was brought up, unfortunately I can't reply anymore on YouTube because I refuse to connect my G Plus account to it. I don't want a G Plus account at all, but I'm afraid to delete it because I think it's connected to some other things. I went through this whole trouble last time they hooked me up to one. They keep generating them and all kind of crap like that. But apparently I can't reply to anything until I do that. So YouTube's pretty much become a waste for me in terms of that's not the place to talk to me anymore. You got to do it over either on 2D6 or probably the best choice is actually BGG. Also Consim Social, but only if I choose to consider it a war game, which I wouldn't consider this. Alright. Although I did sleeve Scandinavia into the, not into the social, but into the other site. What does the evil player want to do? He's got to look at his cards to decide. He's got this worn with sorrow and toil. This would be useful if there was a character card up here. There's not. It could remove one from the hand, though. It's kind of a powerful card towards slowing things down, perhaps. Which is why maybe I want to actually play this. Because if a companion's taken as a casualty, and it's really in the Fellowship's best interests to take Gimli as a casualty now. This takes effect. It'll cause either a random character card from the hand to be discarded, and those are the most likely to actually help the fellowship forward, or it this is tough because, you know, I kind of want to use that Moria card, right? I kind of want to discard and get rid of that card too. However, I have not yet captured this, and that's going to be my goal this time. So I'm allowed to use an attack card for this, or I could use, better yet, a character. I'm going to use a character attack, and I'm going to launch an attack there. There's not much for the fellowship, for the free people to defend that, so that should be easy. I'll come back after the results. Gut wrenching. Actually, the Sauron player played the Stormcrow. If a fellowship or companion is inside the borders of a free people nation that's not at war. Well, that was the Northern men, and that pushed their activation back one, and it also, not their activation, their commitment, whatever you want to call it. It also forced a unit of theirs to be destroyed. I chose to lose the unit from Bree. Bree has no victory point value as far as I can tell, unless that thing coming off the B is meant to indicate one. It doesn't look like it. It looks like it's just a village or something. The thing is, I could push on. I've got an extra space. I've got an event that I'd like to play. And then I've got, eventually, and then I've got these military events, which I could push forward. But 3 dice in here, that's kind of more dangerous than what maybe I might face on another turn. So I don't know. Although, rolling a total of, 5, 7 dice, there's a pretty good chance that 1 or 2 of these is going to show up in here. But that's, I don't think I can push forward 2 spaces, is kind of what I'm looking at here. So if I can't push 2 spaces, then I don't really want to do these things yet. What I want to do is probably activate Gandalf's force and keep pushing it. Let's see if I've got anything here. I've got a helmet that could get me some Rohirrim, Ceridan's ships, and that's about it. So I'll push them forward again. And now we're in this position where, yeah, we want to make the attack again. Because that's coming close. I use the character to attack again. Oh, wait, is this a character? Oh no, I used up... No, I didn't. I've got this worn with sorrow and toil. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to play this event because I get an extra action before Gandalf can actually come in, which means Gandalf will push them into the war. Now I get to attack. Where do I want to attack? This is perhaps the scariest place, although attacking here might be of value. It's so tough. See, if I win here, I'm better defended, but if I give him a chance to build up his army here, well, there's another elite unit there which means it takes more hits, but I don't think he can hold out as long. So I think I'm going to go for the attack there. Let's see if any cards get... Well, that puts it to 7 as this fell. No cards were played. The Fellowship wanted to play one, but the only thing they could have played they didn't really see as useful. So got the 5, 2 there. I need 3 more. The Shire's nearby. I don't have a rebuilding force here. It's no longer as valuable for me to attack with Gandalf at this point. They own the Citadel. And they can defend fairly well in there. It doesn't look to me like they have enough force to take Erebor and hold out against Gandalf. Erebor's another 2-point space though, so there's a lot of points up there. So the question becomes, what do I do? And the only thing I can see doing is moving forward. It's a race. Unlike in the book where the forces of good basically defeat evil anyway. 2 hits, and I'm revealed. I'm taking a loss of my hero. Ugh! This is in play. I'd lose a card if I do that, but I have got to. So there goes Gimli. Another loss. And now a random character card is going to be removed. I got 4 of them starting from the top. That ain't gonna help. It's the Wizard's Staff. That would have been a nice card for Gandalf's battle. Oh well. And does this get discarded? No, but there are no more companions that can be hurt. Gollum can't be hurt. And in fact, there is no Gollum figure in this version. Oh. Yeah, what I wanted to mention was apparently the new version, when I went into that YouTube rant, apparently the new version, somebody commented this, or the second edition version, has smaller Nazgul. Big bonus there. He also mentioned you could put some weight under him. That would definitely help. It has smaller pieces for the Nazgul, and the cards are a bigger size. So, you know, I got the first edition, and that's part of the problem. But there's definitely a flaw in the design of this one. It's still an interesting game. There's no question there. Okay. This goes in here. And now we're on the evil player. You know? Leave me a cheap attack and I'll take it. I don't think any cards will come and play, but well, the evil player basically failed completely. I'm going to flee out of the Shire. I had a card that's good for hobbits, but, well, even though these are all hobbits, it's not going to count for a regular unit. Even if I had a leader there or something, it wouldn't count. It has to be one of the hobbit companions, I guess. Down to... Uh-oh. I forgot to move this. Down to 1 remaining card. And you know what? I forgot to flip this. Let's take a look at what my abilities are here. I've got the Ring Bearer, which just says I get Gollum. And I've got Gollum, whose special abilities are only a reveal card on an eye or special shadow tile will reveal them. And if the card doesn't reveal them, I can reveal them in order to reduce the damage by 1. It doesn't help me in any other way. So now the question is, do I have any events that do? I have this one. This is kind of nice, but I want to do Bilbo's Song. which will heal me 2 corruption because I've got Gollum with me. And I made a move forward so I don't have to do anything else. And that is the end of this turn. And definitely right down to the wire here. 1 space away. It looks very positive to me for the Fellowship. They are 2 dice, essentially, from making it in here. But I need another marker for the Shire, essentially. I'm at 8 points. I need to gain 1 space. I'm right next to Lorien. What is that? That is probably more than 2 dice actions. 1 die to allow me to attack Lorien or the Havens, if that's the case. And then another one to get me as far as actually attacking it. They withdraw into the city. Then I need another one to go in there. So it looks to me like the Fellowship has the definite advantage here, but it's still right down to the line. Anything I can do towards this, I definitely will. On to another turn.